Hi, this is Edward Troxel. I recently had an inquiry asking about some strange oddities going on with the Vegas timeline when adding some things to the timeline, and so I thought we'd investigate that in a tutorial all on its own. And so like, subscribe, leaves me some messages, and let's look at this oddity, and I'll explain it as we go along. Let's start by looking at this initial code. I'm going to place an event at, and I'm going to place it at the 15-second mark on the timeline. And then I need to find my video track. I'm just assuming I've got one video track, which my project is going to have. Then I'm going to create a titles and text generated media. I'm going to get that media, get the stream, create a new event at the place event at location, and it's going to be 15 seconds long. Then I'm going to add that new event to the track and add it as a new take. We've done all this stuff before. This code is just stuff that we've used several times. The main difference is I'm using a place event at right here, and here's what happens when we run the script. And you can see right here at the 15-second mark, we have the sample text, exactly as expected. But Vegas has an interesting ability that we can come in here now and we can come into the time format and we can set the time at cursor. Right now the time at cursor is at 15. What if we make it 10? So now this is the 10-second mark, and our 0 is right over here. So let's delete this and run the script again. We would expect it to be at the 15-second mark, which is about right in here. But we will see it was put at exactly the same place. Now let's go to the beginning of the timeline, which we see is set to -5. Let's set that to 10. Now that's our 10-second mark. Let's see where it puts it this time. And so now it is at the 25-second mark on the timeline when we're actually expecting it to be at the 15-second mark. So the question is, what's going on here? Well, it's always placing it 15 seconds in on the timeline, no matter what the timecode says that position actually is. Because you can change where the timeline starts, it's always putting it at that spot on the timeline without taking the changed time into account. So let's go and take the change time into account. The first thing I'm going to do is create me a new timecode variable, and I'm going to call that timeline offset. And I'm going to get that from myvegas.project.ruler.startTime. This is the actual time that the ruler starts on the timeline. Not taking the 0 into account, it's where the left edge actually starts. Then we're going to take our timeline offset, and when we place our event at, let's subtract this timeline offset. So this is only two changes. We're adding a new variable called timeline offset and getting it from the ruler start time, and then we're subtracting that from where we're going to place this event at. So every time you would place an event, you would need to subtract the timeline offset. Now let's see where it puts the event. Now, with our timeline starting at 10, it has placed this at the 15 mark. Now let's go back and change the beginning to where it was starting at -10. So now this is -10. We run the script. And now it is at the 15-second mark on the timeline, not 15 seconds from the left edge. So I hope you like this tutorial. As you can see, changing the starting point of the timeline, it doesn't care how far over an event is. 15 seconds from the left is still 15 seconds from the left. But if you wanted to match the actual time on the time code so that it's at the 15-second mark, instead of 15 seconds from the left, in my case I was just using 15 seconds, then you need to take the starting time code of the ruler into account. And that's what we did at the end. So I hope you find this tutorial useful, and we'll see you in the next one. Please sign up at www.JETDV.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.